Rogue Sun.
It's late, but we're here.
Yeah.
All right, now that we're in the same vicinity, let me look at my schedule here real quick.
Yeah. So, we got succubuses. The word cuck in a fucking
So this chapter,
is insane. I gotta say, this has gotta be the beginnings of what I wanted. Because I mentioned a couple of like minor gripes last time we filmed it.
so
You're pulling up too.
yep. Okay, so this issue, man, fucking caught me off guard. It felt I was like, wow. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. Philip Franco reference there. So let me see if I can find it. Noctera, Norman Omen, Radiant Black, Rogue Sun. Okay, so the mom killed the mom. The mom
Right.
killed the dad. You know what? That makes a lot of sense. Ladies, if you have ever dated a superhero and he leaves you for another woman, just kill him. That solves all your problems.
So we're not getting any ads on this.
Holy shit, because bro, this is insane. So, like, okay, so honestly, it's crazy because there was a lot of hints to it, I feel like, and I actually went back and read some of the stuff, and I'm like, it kind of makes sense now, because like, because the whole point of Marcus, he was like, okay, he was suspecting everybody because he was suspecting his kids, his wife, and everything. So it's actually insane to me that it was actually the mom who actually killed him, or is implied to kill him. Like imagine you're like, oh, you know, because you remember the backstory, right? She got saved, and he gave her number. They had a kid, blah blah blah, boom. So now I need a backstory for the mom. When does she become a villain? When does she get power?
Or is she more of an anti-hero?
Because it's just like, it's insane because like a lot of betrayal in this series.
Oh yeah.
Like the daughter
Releasing demons.
releasing the demon just so she can potentially kill Dylan so they can get the rogue son back, not knowing that the demon's gonna suck the soul out of her dad. You know, not like that kind of sucking soul, perverts.
I mean, either way, it's a succubus.
Yeah, so it's just crazy to me. Okay, so like I'm going to the panel real quick, right? So like even here, like she's like, you can tell like the mom knows that. Well, sorry from sniffling. It's cold.
It's
out here.
pollen high.
Yeah.
Really hot and
So
fan
like,
blowing.
and because it makes more sense why she's like giving the sunstone. Because at first you're thinking like, oh, you know, she's being a mom, you know, doing your homework, stuff like that. But now we know why. Now it makes more sense why she was so vehement about him getting the sunstone, because she knew that he was talking to the dad and he wanted to talk. You know, she still has things about why did you leave us, me with our kid alone, stuff like that, right? And so like, it's insane because there's so much betrayal. Like the mom, like the daughter, who's like, everyone's like, oh, the daughter killed the dad because she still wanted the sunstone. But she's like, no, I want the sunstone because Dylan's going to get rid of our father once he's done with everything. Because
She wants to save her dad.
yeah, she wants to save her dad, which is understandable. But she's like, Marcus, Dylan never wanted the power anyways. We like it's a very we deserve it because he loved us more sort of situation.
Yeah.
Because she feels like Dylan is a mockery of the legacy because he never liked his dad in the first place. I mean, for good reason. If you leave your kid for another family,
Why the fuck would I give a shit
why
about you?
go out and give a shit about you? And like, and clearly because like Marcus only wanted Dylan's because he had no attachment to him. And like, if you die, go ahead, whatever, right? And I'm liking that Dylan is somewhat trying to get used to the power, but like he's still struggling. I don't know. I'm liking the fact that he's trying to use his ultimate ability, which is a trope we see in American comics, super cartoons, shit like that. Superheroes before like trying to learn the power and struggling as a teen. I
love how there's nods to Cowl and everything too. Like every time we're going through and going and learning the abilities, we're blowing up cowl figurines,
Yeah.
which
And-
is one of Kyle Higgins' earliest works.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like I'm loving how he's not getting used to it that easily. We're seeing the struggle of him being a superhero, and I'm liking that a lot because now we're starting to see Dylan grow because it's gonna be more satisfying to seeing him grow as a character,
Mm-hmm.
and seeing a potential sequel to him as an adult with Rogue's son, and be like, oh yeah, this is how I had to struggle to become Rogue's son because eventually he's gonna have to realize, okay, I have to shape up and do this because he has a rogue gallery, and I love it because like here reading here, she's like, you released the Monica from the crystal. Or he's like, someone had to do it, had to do something because going through it, he's like, you know, she only wants to, she has a binding spell. For some reason, his kids know about demons and spells and shit. Awful parenting, by the way. Awful
It makes
parenting.
sense. It's some
all-
Batman-esque parenting.
Like, bro, like the youngest son is making deals with fucking like
Witch doctors.
witch doctors. The daughter is like putting spells on demons, bro. Like, holy shit. Even the mom kind of surprised me. She was just like, whoa, like, you know, all this extra shit like that. And it's crazy because Ori's like, she said like he doesn't deserve it. He loved being Rogue's son and everything like that, and she wants to keep his legacy because that's all because you know they're still grieving in their own way, which is understandable. And so like her thought process is like, Dylan doesn't deserve it. He never loved our dad like we loved our dad.
Mm-hmm.
We deserve it because that heirloom is the only thing we have left of him. And Dylan's trying to get rid of that by getting rid of his ghost that's in the rope, in the stone.
Right.
And so she's like, he's trying to save him, which is understandable. But bitch, you're trying to kill your half brother, just because
Right.
he like. And I think, or you have to realize this, right? Like, you cannot be mad at Dylan for feeling the way he feels because you were given. Well, I mean, I don't know about given. Marcus was a shitty dad all around, to be honest. Suspecting
Right.
killing you, but like more or less, it seems like seeing how he gave them the will to the house and everything like that, and all his funds and all that. Seems like he cared for that family more or less as much Goku level of like shit compared to Dylan and his mom. You know what I mean? So that's why they're like, she's like, I'm trying to save him because they apparently felt that love growing up, but Dylan never had that. So like, it's like kind of fucked up to me. Like, I'm trying to save him, but it's just like you have to understand it. It's like Dylan never had that because he left. He got left for you guys, you know. So like you have to understand where Dylan's coming from. Like, I think Dylan's the oldest.
Yeah, he would be.
So
Because he was left with Mommy Dearest, you know, years before.
unless it finds out he was cheating. let's find out he was cheating. And when it comes to image shit, cheating tends to happen.
Yeah, that is true. So it could be different. Like the sister could be the firstborn. Who the fuck knows at this point? But yeah, it seems like he's the oldest. At least for now. You know, and then he fucked off, married the second family after, you know, basically doing the same thing over again. And now we're dealing with all the family drama of the family drama of the family drama.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a fucking Maury Povich episode right now.
And the whole family system is fucked up too. Like, cause we're seeing, like, I like how throughout each of the issues we're getting more and more that the family that we thought was all like perfect and hunky-dory isn't so bad after all.
And I love that because there is no such thing as a perfect family.
Mm-hmm.
Like every fucking family has their skeletons. I'm sorry, it's just facts. And so now we're seeing the deconstruction of the perfect family, which is a beautiful concept for a comic to take on. While all the while taking care of this backstory of a murder mystery, and we're dealing with all the other bullshit with the Rogues Gallery, and we're finally getting to where I want in the story. We're getting the conflict between all of this. Because now, I think in the next issue, we're going to have a lot of questions answered.
Yeah.
Because now we know what the fuck happened, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to have to come to terms with that.
Yeah, and my question to you, Vex, is like, What do you think? Do you think we got this revealed too soon? Do you think we should have waited before we got this?
It may have worked better, but at the same time, we know how entwined this universe is.
Yeah.
So, at any time, Dylan could be called to a fucking Lockport, or to L.A., or to anywhere to help one of these other heroes that are in this.
Yeah. Or go to her infernal red dimension to help her with whatever the fuck she's dealing on. But it's funny because I'm just like, in my mind, I was thinking like maybe this sort of reveal was maybe a little bit too soon because I like it, but at the same time in the back of my head I'm just like, it's a gamble. It's very gambly. If this story was in Shonen Jump, it would have been a huge gamble at chapter 6.
Right.
Right, because like this sort of reveal is more of like a chapter 50 reveal, so to speak, depending on how fast you go, monthly series, whatever. But I trust this author because I'm liking what he's doing with the characters so far. But I'm just sort of curious, like, is this reveal a little bit too soon? Because Dylan is still struggling because he's struggling with school, with his dad, and with the powers. He's struggling all of what it comes to term to being a teen superhero, and it makes me wonder if we should have had that American cartoon like Ben 10 Generator Rex style of like Adventure of the Week stuff while still having our detective stuff leading up to this, so we can still get more accustomed to Dylan's lifestyle, see him defeat him. Well, I mean, he already defeated the werewolf, like not, you know, still rough, but you know, like officially like defeat a tough bad guy like by himself and feel accomplished and shit. And then shit hits the fan, like more so like Adventure of the Week style storytelling with a little bit of plot here and there woven in, compared to just like, because this is like plot, like piling on. Like we're getting like a little bit of like Adventure of the Week stuff with like Dylan learning his powers with also like heavy plot.
Yeah, and that seems to be his writing style, because like even like I told you, he had already ripped my goddamn heart out.
Yeah, he's the Power Rangers guy. Yeah, right.
So like I read the night before you had me read this. You're like, read it.
You have to read it, bro. It's so good.
Before dumping other shit on me, I'm like, oh, okay, this is happening too.
Yeah, it was great. It was such a great issue.
But like, not 24 hours removed from reading that Jason's mom died. I'm like, motherfucker. Come on now. What is it with the moms right now? Do you have a mother complex, man?
Probably. Because it's really funny because it's just like, now, because we never, I mean, I might be stupid because I never expected to be the mom. Because I was so confused. I was like, okay, who killed him? Because like after he mentioned like the son killing him, which made sense, like it threw me off guard. It was like, oh wait, the mom? The mom was a villain, had powers all along? And it's just like, and now my question is, because it looks like on the cover of the next issue, he's going to have to fight his mom. And now I'm kind of curious, like, will Dylan have to go away? Will he have to, like, stop going to school? Like, is, like, not, because the thing is, though, the biggest thing in storytelling is the status quo. And there are certain stories, not just comics, but in any medium, video games, cartoons, movies, books, the status quo is the biggest thing in any medium, because once the status quo is broken, you can never go back. There are certain series that try to do it, like Disenchantment, for example. Well, besides the 4th season, we'll talk about that when we get to it. Was very good at doing heavy plot stuff and then going back to the status quo. A lot of Matt Groening series like to do that. A lot of
look at Futurama.
Yeah, it's very
it's very on par for him.
American cartoons like to do this a lot too. They always have arcs, and then they always go back to the status quo. And Rick
and Morty did it, like season 1, like
big example. A lot of adult animated films that have like gag and plot, because at the end of the day, when it comes to stories like that, Rick and Morty, Disenchantment, shit like that, for those series to survive, you always have to come back to the status quo, because they cannot be heavily plot influenced, just because that's not officially what the series is about. And these comics are no different. Radiant Black
did it when they killed off the original MC.
Yeah, Radiant Black. After all that, the plot shit happened. We went back to the status quo, and now we're doing shit like that. So now Rogue Sun is getting a shot. Right now, the status quo for 6 issues was sustained.
4 issues.
well, yeah, sorry, 4 issues was sustained, and now that we have this reveal, what's going to happen to the status quo? Will we have to go? Will the status quo be broken, and we're going to plot, 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 plot?
I think we're going to have to go like that. I don't think there's going back at this point.
Yeah, because Dylan can't go home. Like his mom's. We don't know if his mom's a villain, a hero, whatever. If his mom killed his dad, where does Dylan go? He can't go back to school. He can't live a normal life. I mean, I can see him going to his step family's house, but who knows? But like after this, he's really on his own because his mom is all he has. You know what I mean? So unless his dad is like, and this is where we get the Radiant Black tie-in. He's like, go to Lockpoint and seek help from Radiant Black. I would like that, but it probably wouldn't make much sense because Rogue Sun still needs to be its own concurrent thing. But it's just kind of like once that status quo is broken, how long will it be before the status quo is returned? Because after this, because it can either go one of two ways. Either the status quo can be broken for a while, and now Dylan has to figure out what he has to do when it comes to the Rogue Sun. He has to go into hiding, live on his own, shit like that.
This could be where we see a lot of the tie-ins, like with Radiant Black, with Inferno Girl Red, with Dead Lucky, with all of that shit. Or what we could do is we could get help from his own system of allies, because you would think somebody like Rogue Sun would have his
allies.
own.
Because the way it's implied, he's like the only hero in the city, but I highly fucking doubt that. I'd be shocked if like a universe like this, because Radiant Black is in the same universe, so there's no way in hell there's not like other fucking superheroes. Maybe not in the same city, but in like different cities from like, because Invincible did the same thing. A lot of Robert Kirkman put a lot of his other works like Tech Jacket, The Inside of Wolfman, shit like that into Invincible, and I know Guardians of the Globe have their own comic spinoff too, I think, but like
they had like a 4-issue spinoff.
Yeah, and like Bomb Queen, also the same thing. Bomb Queen's in the same universe as like Invincible, Dynamo 5, shit like that. It's like an image sort of concurrent thing, because even like Spawn.
Well, I mean,
Savage
even like
Dragons.
if you even look at like the anthology series right now, they have their own like tie-ins there. Like for example, Shift. Like a lot of the Shift stuff is happening in that. A lot of the Shift stuff is happening in Radiant Red as well.
Yeah, because I know Bomb Queen fought like Savage Dragon, Witchblade, shit like that. So like coherent. So I'd be shocked. Because, like, you can go back to the status quo could be broken, or after this, the status quo can be reformed, but things wouldn't be the same. You know what I mean? So, because I don't know how far he's gonna go. Like, is the mom gonna try to literally kill her own son just to speak to the dad? Like, because this is gonna be another side to the mom. Like, maybe she had like inner dark tendencies that we didn't know about, and now she's like, she would even go so far as to hurt or even kill her own son just to speak to the man that she loved. You know what I mean?
Right, loved.
But it's just very interesting how like the whole family dynamic, like you said, the whole family drama is finally imploding now.
Yeah,
And Dylan,
it was bubbling for the first 3 issues, so you knew it was going to happen sooner or later. I didn't expect it to be this quick, but at the same time, I'm glad it did, so we can get past this and get into more of the action, the tie-ins, and the expanding this universe, because these two, specifically like Kyle Higgins and Ryan Parrott, have a very, very great, well-refined way of writing a multiverse. And that's something that I know a lot of our fans, at least in the Discord server, aren't the biggest fan of like multiverse style stuff. But I fucking love it.
I love it. That's why I love Rick and Morty so much, man. That multiverse shit, so satisfying. I love it. And when it comes to, I'll let you finish in a second. When it comes to it, it's just kind of like that status quo, man. That status quo is the biggest thing in any story. Once the status quo is broken, you cannot come back. I mean, you can, but it's hard to come back. Yeah. And a new status quo will have to be formed, and that new norm is going to be the thing. So now I want to know what, because Dylan never asked for any of this, and now he's finding out that his mom may or may not. Because technically we don't know. Maybe it was an imposter. Who knows? But like, his mom may or may not be a villain or anti-hero. May have killed his dad. He's gonna find out that his older/younger stepsister tried to have him killed. Obviously not. She didn't try to get him killed, but sent a fucking one of his dad's rogue gallery, one of the most dangerous ones, who literally, first issue by the way, fucking going into the fucking graveyard, sucking out souls for power, like.
Like fucking Aberdeen from Adventure
Yeah,
Time.
yeah, like, bro,
Stomping on
like
and
finding like
sucking up.
imagine being Dylan and finding out that your half sibling sent a fucking villain after you just because
Yeah.
you wanted a fucking stone. Like so like
Who
Dylan,
the fuck do I trust at this point? You know?
yeah, who do you trust at this point? So
You got bitchy sister who tried to steal a stone from you, or your fucking mother who may or may not be trying to kill you, or your brother who kind of tried to kill you.
Yeah.
Or
so it's just kind of like Dylan doesn't really have any
he's fucked.
he doesn't have anything to lead on. So like that's what I'm saying. Like the status quo has to be broken now because like Dylan can't truly trust anyone, and you already know that Demonica's gonna be like, oh well, your daughter sent me after you. It's kind of like, okay. After that, like, where does Dylan go from here? Like, he's gonna be all alone. Like, where does he go? He's gonna figure shit out. And technically speaking, all he'll really have is his dad. Mm-hmm. So like, once the situation, like, because once the next issue we find out if the mom really was the killer, he's gonna have to rely on his dad because that's all the support he's gonna have, and that's gonna be a bonding moment for them. You know, gonna have to bond with his dad's a ghost, and sort of like, and get to know him more because.
This is the life I led.
Yeah.
I told you it was tough.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that's really, his dad is going to be the only support being he has, unless he goes to a step family. But I don't, like, unless, heaven forbid, he forgives his sister that easily. I don't know if I forgive you that easily if you sent a villain after
fucking
me.
Succubus who wants to drink my soul.
After me. Well, I mean, it just sounds so we're talking about it. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm perfect. Sorry. But, you know, shit like that. But yeah, man, I feel bad for Dylan, man. Dylan's going through it. He's going through it, and he doesn't really have a support beam. And if that sort of thing is broken, where do we go from here? Because having to fight your own mom, man, that's gonna be rough. Especially if his mom looks like she's been doing this shit for a long time. She looks like she's a pro at kicking ass.
Yeah.
So
I want her backstory at this point. Like, what the fuck's going on with her? Because it's interesting, to say the very least, to see so many people in this family be so goddamn cutthroat. So I guess final thoughts.
Yeah, because I can say maybe she's a retired villain, or maybe like a retired villain. Maybe like she fought Roguesland in the past, and she retired, and or maybe she lost a member or whatever. But like she because the backstory, or maybe she even lied about the backstory. You know, maybe she didn't actually meet him the way that she told Dylan. Maybe they were enemies because maybe they were
like Batman and Catwoman.
Yeah, but they felt. Thank you, Vex. I love you. Something like that. Batman, Catwoman situation where they were villain, and they fell in love and they're playing that flirtatious like cat and mouse game, and then they ended up having a kid together, and he promised to quit the hero. She promised to stop being a villain. And
she stopped. He didn't.
He didn't, and he left because and I would
pretty
like
much
that.
the same fucking thing that happened.
Yeah, and I don't know. That may sound generic, but that's what makes sense to me because we don't really know like how because it doesn't seem like she seems too used to kicking ass for it to be like a recent thing. Like, oh, I got these powers recently. Like it feels like she's always had them, but she hid them. So my biggest headcanon theory is just like. The way she met Marcus was a lie. She was a part of his rogue gallery. They fell in love. They had a kid, which is Dylan. She hung up her mantle, but he didn't. And
the city needs me.
Yeah, something happened, and he left her. And
it's the caper me.
And then she got mad about that, and she killed him, or something happened like that. Or maybe she didn't kill him, but maybe an imposter.
Took up her,
took up her mantle, killed him, and now she has to save her son from being killed. Yeah. Because that's probably the main reason why she doesn't like. Because it's the weird thing about the mom is it's like she didn't really like when she got the rogue son, the Sunstone. I could be wrong, but she didn't really object that much. Only thing she really said was as long as you do your schoolwork and shit. You can do both, but it didn't feel like she objected to him being right. That my theory would be more believable if she like objected to it because she knows what Marcus had to go through because she was a part of that rogue gallery. but like she didn't really object to it. Is what
Right.
my sort of thing. I'm kind of confused about. Maybe she was okay with him having the sunstone, or maybe she thought he would just give up because he didn't like it or whatever. But like,
Yeah.
it's
He
kinda-
doesn't seem to have much ambition at all.
Yeah. So it's just
He's a very, very generic teenage burnout.
Yeah, there's a lot of puzzle pieces we're missing.
Yeah.
I want to know like where, because I'd be shocked. I'd be so shocked. I'm heavily convinced. Like if I'm wrong, I'll take that L. But I'd be heavily shocked if she wasn't like a villain or hero before this, or like they didn't fall in love that Batman Catwoman style.
Mhm.
Because like because it blows my mind that all of a sudden they met because he saved her, and he gave her that. That's too cliche.
Yeah.
Too cliche. I feel like they wanted to hide her backstory because she was like a well-known villain that disappeared or whatever, and she hung up her mantle, and then after he left her, maybe he killed her, but maybe like someone else who because people can take up mantle of villains and heroes all the time. We see it all the time.
Yeah.
Someone else took up the mantle for her, and was trying to frame her, or whatever. It's a lot. Theory. The best part of making me is theories. It's a theory, but I could be wrong. I could be way off. I could be on the mark. Who knows? But we need more.
We need a lot of pieces
it's
to go.
good. It's good, but we need more.
I know the pieces fit somewhere, but we just really need to see where they all land.
I mean, this theory just makes the most sense to me. Like, do you agree? Disagree?
Yeah, I
I'm
agree.
curious. I'm
Like,
curious.
I agree here. Like, there's a little bit of cliche. There's a little bit of that teenage burnout. There's a lot that could really fit into place. I just need more, and the only downside to these videos is we do them once a month because they come out once a month. So our heads are gonna be fucking spinning for a month.
Because I feel like she's lying about how they met. Like,
Oh yeah.
because she told the story, not him.
Right, and you would think, like, if it was true, he'd be the one being the frame. Yeah, I met your mom, or this car wreck, and blah, 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 blah. It's too fucking convenient. So, that's final thoughts for me.
Yeah, that's final thought for me, man. Let us know in the comments what you think.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.